the ecosystem is improved as well. Think about how many plastic bottles that you use. If only two people use the system, and rather than buying plastic bottled water,
Right.
uh, they would actually save over $900 per year
Right.
at a normal 32 cents. And a lot of them are a lot more than that, of course. And then all of that plastic does not go into the ecosystem.
This episode of Grounded in Maine is sponsored by ESG Review. ESG Review magazine is published quarterly in February, May, August, and November and is available for free in print and digital formats. ESG Review is devoted to environmental, social, and governance strategies, technologies, and investments. ESGreview.net is updated every Wednesday with 8 new stories and is home to feature articles, news items, and more. Visit esgreview.net to stay informed and help us spark the collaboration and awareness needed to develop sustainable economies and communities around the world.
There's a place where there's no trouble, no more pain, no more struggle.
Grounded in Maine podcast is an open conversation about how we show up for the world. I started this podcast out of a desire to learn new ways to be sustainable because the word sustainability is big. It can be overwhelming, and I just wanted to learn, different ways to try to be part of the solution and not feel like it's too late. So I'm talking to people who are doing different things and learning so much. I hope you are too.
Hi there. Thank you so much for listening to Grounded in Maine today. My name is Amy Fagan, and my guest today is Mark Miller. Mark's product it's a water filter. It's called Safer, Cleaner Water. And he is founder, creator, 100% owner of this. And he's going to tell us all about this because this is like a really cool thing. And I'll preface with saying we're talking on January 7th, which if you're in like the Midwest or North or the Eastern coast of the US. Oh my gosh, my words. Like I'm in Virginia and I only got an inch of snow, but then we got a lot of rain and then it froze because it was super cold and windy. But north of me, like my sisters and Mark, where he's living, they got like 9 inches of snow plus, and then I think it's heading north as well. So it's just an interesting thing. So I was telling Mark before we started recording, the town next to me has no power. Like they've been without power for 2 days. And so this is just, I was just saying it was interesting timing. So Mark, thank you so much for being here. I'm looking forward to learning more about safer, cleaner water.
Thank you, Amy. I appreciate it. I'm happy to be here. Happy to share some news and good news.
Yeah, for sure.
Also, to be able to have something that changes your life and can help so many others at the same time in any situation.
For
But
sure.
one of the things a lot of times that we ask, and some people have to think about it, but not very long. What are the three main things every single person needs and has to have? That's the most important thing for you to live. And it's three basic things. Number one is air.
Hmm.
You can only get by with about three minutes without air.
Right.
We can't help you with that, unfortunately. But number two is water. You can only do like 3 days without water. And then number three is food. And you can get up to 30 days, around 30 days without food. But if you don't have your water, you're not going to get to the food part.
Right.
So the second most important thing in our life to be able to live on this planet is water.
Hmm.
And the thing that most people would say and do say, I'd love to have pure water all the time rather than just whatever water is available.
Right.
And in some parts of the world, they don't have any electricity and they don't have anything where they can have pure water without having to do something to filter it. So, and this is one of the things I'll share with you in a moment. But just a little bit of my background. I actually was raised in a family with I have 10 siblings. I was the middle child. We lived in a small town. Excuse me. We had a well and there was challenges with the well at times, and then of course other things can happen as well. But when I was like 16 years of age, I had a feeling that there would be something in my life that would come about that would help a lot of people. Just a 16-year-old kid, that was just an impression. And for years, I have done all kinds of different things in my background. I was on the board of directors of a nonprofit entity for 33 years. I had owned different businesses,
Hmm.
had in management positions and different things. But with all of that said, whenever I came to the place of developing what we have to share with you today, there just came, it was almost like a vision or a live dream. I don't know how to describe it, but the thing that you have developed is something that can help millions of people. All they need to do is know about it, and it's so economical that everyone can afford to do it. And
Right.
every person that has it in an emergency, even if there's no electricity, can help as many as 300 people have pure water to drink, no matter how long the emergency lasts, and literally for a lifetime.
And that's, you said one system for 350 people?
One system will take care of up to 300 people because it will do 150 gallon per day. Everybody needs a half gallon of water or some liquid to survive. So you literally could take care of you, your family, and a total of up to 300 people,
Oh,
no matter how long it lasts. Even if it was at the stream of any type of water, doesn't matter how dirty it is or where it comes from. The water that comes out of this filter is 100% pure, 99.9999, with tested all the way. Plus, it takes out 100% of the microplastics as well. So now you can have pure water forever if you so desire, and who doesn't? So there's other parts of my background. I won't go into that right now, but let's talk about where I got the idea.
yeah.
That is something that's really special. You know, I've been aware of wanting clean water, pure water, and filtration, etc. But about a year and a half ago, I was in a meeting where there was a missionary from Central America sharing how one of the primary reasons children die in foreign countries is because of bad water.
Mm.
In fact, I did some research recently, and there's some parts of the world where they don't name their child until they're 3 years of age because they don't expect them to live long enough.
Oh gosh.
That has changed now with this. They now name their children
Oh,
because they know they don't have to have that challenge anymore. And so anyway, it's that important. But I was listening to that missionary present, and they were telling how now when they have the pure water system, the children don't die because they have pure water now. It's the number one reason. They don't have the challenges physically to the level as well.
yeah.
So I was sitting there in that meeting, and something just clicked in my mind, and I said, these people in foreign countries have pure water when there's no electricity and no way where else to get it. It never comes out of their tap. But here they are. They have pure water, and we have over 300 million people in the United States that do not have the ability. If the electric went out tomorrow, where would they get their water?
Right.
So I said, what can we do about that? And then I began to think of all the process of of other filtration systems and all the different things that are out there on the marketplace. And I realized that, and what I do is share it or compare it to why do you buy a printer, and what do you have to do after you purchase it? You have to buy filters time and time and time again.
Yeah, the toner cartridges for sure. And
Exactly.
often like the to replace all the toner cartridges, it's literally like buying the printer all over again.
Exactly. In fact, I purchased a filter. I mean, I purchased a printer about a year and a half ago, and it was like just under $500. And literally, Amy, I went back about 3 months ago, and to replace the filter, I mean, to replace the cartridges in this printer was over $600,
Right.
literally. I mean, I couldn't believe it. So why do they sell you a printer? So they can sell you ink the rest of your life, cartridges. So I said, okay, that's kind of what most water filtration systems are. They sell you a water filtration system, so you'll have to buy filters the rest of your life.
Mm-hmm.
So when I began to try to compare, what do we have that's different? What's do they have? It began to get more confusing than clarity, because it's so simple. What I can say that it says the difference in just a very short way. Number one, we have a filtration system. We call our company Safer, Cleaner Water, and we have a filtration system that literally will last you a lifetime, guaranteed by the manufacturer. So what does that mean? Two things that are different. Number one, you have a lifetime guarantee, so you have pure water the rest of your life, up to 150 gallons per day. And number two, you never have to replace the filter because the manufacturer designed it to reverse the filter. You have pure water that came out of it. You reverse the filter and backwash it with pure water. Now it's clean and it's ready to do it again,
Mm.
over and over. And there's some of these, again, it's guaranteed for a lifetime, but there's some of these that have been over 20 years and they're still working just exactly like they were when they purchased it. And the manufacturer did a test with it with over 2 million gallon of water going through the system. It still was putting through pure water. And everything about what we have has been tested with in lab tests and everything. All of that shows exactly how that works. So that's the main difference of what we have compared to others. One time purchase, never have to buy another filter for the rest of your life.
Yeah. Because usually when you have like a well water, you have to change your filter at least every 6 months. Uh,
Exactly.
So
Yes.
that's, I we probably still do that, but
Yeah, it's still good to do
be like
that.
a
But
backup or
right,
emergency thing for sure.
right. And then there's a few things that kind of help understand what we do as well. Um, you see a water scene behind me. That's still not clean water, but it's more pure water, purer water than what most of us have in our area. So what we did, and this shows on our website as well, we went to a stream of water it was obvious when you look at the video, just a minute and a half video. We just drew water out of the stream, hooked up our container and our filtration system, and came out pure water. The one that did the demonstration just held the water up as pure and just took the water and drank it right on the spot.
Hmm.
That dirty water. And if you think about, in many places, there isn't anything but really chocolate water, almost some of it.
Right. It looks like that in the
Yeah,
US.
yeah, in lots of places. So anyway, that's the way it was, and that's what we have to show, and it does work. And all of the things showing by the tests and lab tests and all that show that it takes out everything that would make you sick, and it also takes out 100% of the microplastics.
Amazing. That's amazing. And so what it what were you doing before this that you were able to put this together, Mark?
Well, it's interesting, Amy, that my background is like if I sat down with you and you had 20 different topics that you wanted to talk about, I would know how to communicate with each one because of my background. I pastored churches, I owned businesses. I was on 33 years with the board of directors of a nonprofit ministry, and have many other things. Number one, salesperson in some companies, etc. But what happened through the years, Amy? I mentioned to you, I believe, before we started our conversation today, that, and maybe I even mentioned it already here, but when I was 16 years old, had that 16 years of age, had that feeling,
Right.
and everything I did, it was like a step one, step two, step three. There were some things I said, okay, to do what I really feel like I'm called to do is I need to learn this. So I would learn that, and then I go to the next thing, and I'm not like bouncing around. It was just like a progress. And then whenever I came to this area of pure water and safer, cleaner water, and wanting to develop this after hearing that missionary,
Mm.
I already knew about pure water. I was raised where we had a well in our home, and also Dad was one that he was a minister, but he also had 11 children, so he had to do some things more. It's a small town, so I had a hammer in my hand or something like that when I was 5 years old and over. So we saw, we would repair a well, whatever, on and on. So all kinds of experiences to lead up to this. But when I saw that, it was just like a light went off. This is something. And then again, when that took place, I had a strong impression that this would change so many lives, that it would be something that this was my 16-year-old vision and dream, is to come to this place to be able to help millions of people. And when I saw that in the foreign countries where they have the ability to purify their water with something, I said, let's check and find out how that's possible, because there's 300 million people in the United States. If the electric goes out tomorrow, what would they do? A lot of them will die. They don't have any access to water. But
Right.
here's a way to actually do something. So, for example, for every person can help 300 people, every 10 people that have one of our systems could help as many as 3,000 people. So it wouldn't take long to be able to have the ability to help a lot of people to have pure water for the rest of their life, not just you. And then I also have a nonprofit entity. We won't talk about that much in this, but I created in it what I call a water pool, meaning those that cannot afford our very economical water filtration system, emergency system. Some will want to donate to our nonprofit, where we can actually supply pure water for those that cannot afford it, even though, and we'll just mention even now, it's only $99 one-time purchase.
Right.
So how many people could you help with just a few dollars beside what you would want to do yourself? But I think there's another thing, Amy, that I think we need to talk about a little bit. That it was intriguing to me when I was developing this. I would ask people before I got to the place of knowing exactly what we wanted to bring out. What would you do if the electric went out tomorrow? Where would you get your water? And most of them would say, well, I'd go to the supermarket and I'd try to be first and get the water that I need, and I'd be okay probably. So I heard that quite a few times. So it was interesting. I was thinking, well, that makes some logical sense, but let's go farther. What about the rest of the people, first of all?
Right.
He was the
Right.
first.
Yeah. I only care about
Uh,
me. It's
yeah, right. So, so that's one thing. But the other thing was if you think of it from that perspective, if that's what you thought would happen, let's just take it further. So about a year and a half ago, I drove, well, that was actually about 6 or 8 months ago, a year and a half ago is when we started this research and such. But I drove into the town about 20 minutes from where I live that has a supermarket. When I drove into the town, the electricity was low, so stoplights were dark and whatever. And I wanted to go to the supermarket before I had my appointment. So I pulled up into the parking lot, and what do you think was there? First of all, the lights were out in there too because the electricity was off. But
Right.
there was something else there that changed my mind and I'm able to understand, and everybody else is. There was a sign on the door that said closed due to power outage.
Right.
So how much water would you have gotten? The first one even there. They
Oh,
can't take your
right.
money.
No matter how fast you
So
got there.
right, exactly. So that's one thing. So the other thing that kind of also that I began to think through, we have insurance on our house, on our boat, on our car, on whatever. But what's the number two thing we need to be able to survive?
Water.
Water. Do we have any insurance on the water? No. But what if you had something that was like insurance,
Mm.
and you could call it assurance, so where you never have to worry about that because you have the ability to have pure water for the rest of your life with a one-time purchase, and you never have to buy a filter for it because it can be backwashed. So now you have pure water for the rest of your life, and you, your family, and up to 300 total people every single day. So I thought that was something that was also extremely valuable for what we're doing.
For sure.
So what happened? And I mentioned this a little bit earlier, Amy, but as I began to put together, okay, this system does this, and this other type of filter system does this, and it came to a place where I said, all of that's so confusing. What do I have that's different? I don't have to tell what everybody else has or doesn't have. I
Right.
just have to tell you what's the difference that you don't find anyplace else. And number one, again, you have something that you can purchase one time and have pure water the rest of your life. Number two, since you can backwash the filter with the pure water that you created through the filter, it actually never has to, the filter never has to be replaced. And that's so clear because the manufacturer, 40-plus-year-old manufacturer, guarantees the filter for life.
Okay.
And they've done tests of all kinds where 2 million gallons of water have gone through the system and still washes pure, if pure water comes out just by backwashing it.
That's so interesting. I mean, the more I think about it, I'm so curious about um the fact that you don't have to change it. But I mean, when you just backwash it, and so whatever, I mean, I know that when I was in Maine, the filter would get clogged with the sediment in the ground coming up from the
Mm-hmm.
well. But so if you backwash it, where is that sediment and stuff going?
Well, when you backwash it, you just put it in the drain or whatever, and the the filter is 0.1 fibers that's so tight that nothing of any substance size can go in there.
Right.
So the large stuff is not getting in that filter, only small stuff that goes out. So it actually takes care of that larger stuff that's the larger size for it to not even go through the filter. And that's why it's easy to backwash. So anyway, that's it. And then the other thing that this does, the ecosystem is improved as well. Think about how many plastic bottles that you use. If only two people use the system, and rather than buying plastic bottled water,
Right.
uh, they would actually save over $900 per year
Right.
at a normal 32 cents. And a lot of them are a lot more than that, of course. And then all of that plastic does not go into the ecosystem. Now you have something that actually helps with that while you're also saving money. It's like a money saver. You don't have to keep buying bottled water,
Hmm.
and then that just takes care of all of that as well. So let's break down two more things, Amy.
Okay.
One thing is we've talked everything so far about the emergency filter system. You can use it for everyday use. You don't have to have anything else. But we in the United States are used to water flowing through our faucet. We don't have to think about, well, what's going to happen tomorrow? We don't know though. But right now we're pretty cool with that. So what happens with what we have? Um, you actually don't have to. You're in. You don't have to always use the emergency filter. In other words, if you have water running through. But wouldn't you like to have that water pure as well? So what we did is we have the emergency filter, but we also have made available what we call daily use for those that have water running through their system. And so there's two additional filters. One is that just fits on your tap on your faucet. The tap filter is called. So you can just put that on your tap filter, and that will purify up to 2,000 gallons of water, 100% pure, before you have to change a filter on that. Most of the other type filters you see have a few hundred gallons at most, but 2,000 gallon, and then that does what's needed without using that emergency filter. You can just keep that for the emergencies and use the tap filter if you so desire. Plus, if you so desire, there's also a pitcher filter that does the same exact thing as a tap filter. It will filter up to 2,000 gallons before it has to have a filter in it. So with the three filters combined, you only have to have the emergency. But if you would just want to have the whole wrap for everything, you have the emergency filter, and then also you have the pitcher filter. Neither one of those need electricity. Then
Hmm.
if you have tap water that's running through your system, you can use the tap filter, or you could use that, or put just from your tap, put it in the pitcher filter.
Right.
So now that's complete. The emergency filter system is what we focus on, but we give you the privilege, if you so desire, to purchase those other two as well. And the emergency filter, again, is $99, including shipping. So that there's a container, 5-gallon container that comes with it. There's the adapter kit that you can't go buy anywhere. You have to figure out how to do that if you wanted to, but that comes with it, as well as the filter. So when you get the system, within 5 minutes from the time you receive the system, you have pure water for the rest of your life.
That's amazing.
Then on the website, again, if you want, there's a tap filter and a pitcher filter, and those are only like $50 a piece.
Wow. And those have to be replaced, you said, after
Those every 2,000 gallons. So think of 2,000 gallon. Think of 2,000 gallon. Think of one person that would last them about 10 years. So,
Yeah,
uh,
that's a while.
3 people last about 3 years. I mean, so uh, if you use it completely, just for that, and with the tap filter, it just has a lever on it where you can use it for the pure when you want to, and then turn it back when you just want to use the regular water. So that lasts a long time.
Oh, so with the tap filter, you can turn it on or off.
Exactly.
Okay, so
Yes.
like when I'm canning jam and I have to fill my canner with like
Right.
4 gallons of water, it doesn't have to be like the filtered
No.
water. Okay,
Exactly.
that's very cool.
Right. Right. So
And then
I
the
have some.
the
Go ahead.
other one, the pitcher filter is going to be like a Brita, but better, right?
It's like a Brita, but better, but does everything rather than just a few things. It takes everything out, and chlorine, etc. So
Right.
I have some short testimonials too to give you kind of a feel. Everybody has a different reason. Not everybody is different, but a lot of people have a different reason of why they would want one. What's the reason that some people do it? First of all, one of our first ones that we were able to get out, we actually had some. I mentioned the water pool concept. We actually had some that helped me donate this first one to a family that the husband had a major challenge physically, and he wasn't expected to live over about a year. They had to drink pure water. That's all he could drink,
Right.
and they were having to go buy bottled water. And where they were buying bottled water, to the supermarket where they were buying it, it was costing them $55 every month. They were already in a challenged position financially. So we actually donated a system to them, and that saved them $600 per year from
$600.
just that one thing. And that's just with the emergency filter. That's what they received.
Yeah.
Okay. And then another one, there's a massage therapist that works with elderly people to help them with the needs that they have. And that before she purchased a safer, cleaner water system, she would give them water, and she'd have to put a little lemon in it or something to make it taste better, good enough for them to drink it. But when she got our safer, cleaner water filtration system, she gave a testimonial. She said, now when I give it to them, she said, I always give it to them and say, I want to bless you in the name of Jesus. I just want to give you blessing and give you water. That was just her way of doing it. But what happened after she got this one? They would drink it all. They say, I like this water. It really tastes good. So she didn't have to put lemon in it or anything anymore. And she was just tickled to death, and her those that she served was as well. Another one is we have a person that lives in a subdivision. And as we were talking to him about this, he said, in an emergency, with this fact that this can do up to 300 people every day, I could take care of my whole subdivision
Right.
to have pure water, no matter how long the challenge
Absolutely.
lasted.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah. And then a couple, the elderly couple had a reverse osmosis system, but they had that whole house system. But every time the electric would go out, she would panic. She said, I can't get any water. Doesn't matter what system you have. If there's most others, if
Right.
there's not water running through the system, you don't have pure water if the
Right.
electric goes out. So they bought our system because they wanted to have pure water, even though they have an RO system, because it works no matter whether there's electricity or not. And then another one, her well had almost gone clear dry, and the water was so filthy coming out of it. She was able to buy this system, purchase this system, and now have pure water, even though it's coming out not very nice at all.
Mm.
So those are just some of the things. And here's one of the statements that Rod, one that purchased the system, one of the statements that he said that I thought was very interesting. It would cost you more not to buy it.
Yeah, well, for sure.
So
I mean, one
that's
time
what we had. Go
$100
ahead.
you get coverage for life, whereas I mean, if you have a well, I mean, I don't know about town water or city water, but with a well, it's like what, $15 for two filters every 6 months, something like that. That adds up if you're in the house for a while.
Right.
But how does it work when you don't have electricity?
It's because it's a gravity flow.
So it's
So,
coming from where?
okay, use this example. It comes with a 5 gallon container. You put water in that 5 gallon container. There's an adapter kit to the 5 gallon container. You hook the filter to it, and whatever you want to put the pure water in, it just flows, gravity flow from the 5 gallon container through the filter into whatever you want to put it in.
Hmm. Okay, but you have to start with the 5 gallons, and so, you have to get 5 gallons of water in.
No, you can do it with a half gallon. You can do it with a gallon. Whatever water you can get, you can use it no matter how small it is.
No, I'm
But it
just
will
saying,
do up to
like,
5 gallon, and then yeah,
yeah.
go ahead.
But like, if there was no power for like days, you
Right,
have to find a source of even dirty water,
exactly.
right?
Right. Whether it's rainwater, snow, anybody
Gotcha.
knows about snow right now, or there's some type of water like creek or whatever uh, within some range. But yes, you do have to have something. It will not do salt water, but even in the states like Florida, they do have lakes and streams and
Right.
rain and whatever as well. So
Sure.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
And then we had when we talked before, you had mentioned, and I'm trying to remember if it was like fluoride or chlorine. You had mentioned chlorine a few minutes ago. But so there's an option to filter out or not filter? And now I'm not remembering.
okay, right, okay. On the emergency filter, it filters out everything, including, like I said, microplastics, etc. But it uh, does not take out chlorine or fluoride.
Oh,
But
okay.
in an emergency situation, you're going to be getting water from places that usually that's not in. But each of the tap filter and the tap filter will take out chlorine as well. The pitcher filter will take out chlorine, and there's an option to buy one that takes fluoride out as well.
Okay.
So chlorine and fluoride. So pitcher, chlorine, fluoride out, and all the other stuff. You don't have to run it through the emergency filter first. It takes everything out, the
Mhm.
pitcher, and then the tap filter, everything, including chlorine, but not fluoride. And then the other one takes out everything else, and all of them take out the microplastics as well.
Okay. So the emergency filter takes out everything.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I remember talking about that a little bit, but it was a few weeks ago.
Yes, and just for clarity, the emergency filter takes out everything except chlorine and fluoride. But again, you're going to be drawing water where that's not an issue typically.
That's
And
not
then the other one,
kind of
fluoride, and then the other, yeah, right, yeah.
sure.
So it's like that's again emergency, and then the daily use. That's the way to think about it. But you can use the emergency for the daily use as well if you so desire, or if you
Right.
want more convenience than the others as well. So, and it's bottom line, safercleanerwater.com is our website, safercleanerwater.com. And anybody can go there, and it shows you the picture of the waterfront where they drew that water, the dirty water, and immediately was able to be 100% pure. And
Mhm.
lots of other information, videos related to some things I talk about. It's like insurance and the supermarket story, a lot of different things there. It's a fun read, and then easy to do, just $99, and it's U.S. only right now as far as everything that we have. There's one exception to that. I'll put it this way: we ship the emergency filter and the container for that, where you have everything you need for that, shipping included. If you want the tap filter or the water filter, there's a link on there, and that is sent to you directly from the company. So that's the way the system works. That's again on all of US, but if you're in foreign country like another country like Canada, you still can buy the pitcher filter and the tap filter direct from that manufacturer and still have those benefits as well. There is a way for you to get the thing like what we have for the emergency filter, but the financial cost of shipping to Canada is extremely high, so there has to be some leverage for that, something that would help. So right now we just don't do Canada, and since those other two filters can be purchased, that is something they can have pure water as well, 2,000 gallon before they have to change. And that's when you think of that, Amy, the thing that people don't think through. Okay, I have a filter and it'll do whatever amount, but what if that filter goes bad in the emergency? There's no way you're going to get one.
Mm-hmm.
They can't bring it to you. They can't get it to you. You can't buy one. You don't have to worry about that anymore. The peace of mind that you can have, and this, and we've talking a little bit about Helene, for example, before we came on and are sharing here. And bottom line, we were able to help some with that, and we also had our manufacturer that was able to help a tremendous amount with that. And again, now people have it more to the top of their mind. There's some people that say, well, if I can just go down and find one and buy one. You can, right? You can't find everything that's together and have it shipped to your door and never have to worry about it anymore.
Right.
Number one, that's a whole different thing. But the other big thing, if I ask 100 people and they said, yeah, I'll just get one. I know where I could find one. I'll just go look for one. 99 bucks. I think maybe I could, whatever. Okay. But they'll never do it. And then when the time comes, well, I wish I had. So we had it to where it was actually a little more expensive than what we have now. It's still very reasonable. I mean, if you can save $900 a year, it's etc. It's
Wow.
like,
Sure.
and the way we refer to that, Amy, is if I said to you, give me $100 and I will make sure that you have 300 back in your pocket by the end of the year, would you do it? We don't ask you for anything except we give you something that's $99 one-time purchase that will save you more than 300 if you utilize it.
Mm-hmm.
And what's the price or the value of it in an emergency? There's no value that you can place on it.
Right.
It's where it's no
Yeah,
price that you could
beyond,
say. Yeah, beyond. Yes, right.
for sure. Wow. It's so interesting to me. And I feel like this is, obviously after Hurricane Helene and the one that came after. Um, but that I can't remember the name of. And, this current storm that, like I was saying, the town next to me is without power for now 2 days. And we're hoping that they'll get power back tomorrow. But, you just don't know. And to be prepared for something like that would be super helpful.
Let me give you two or three other examples. San Diego, the first of last year, had more a flood greater than it ever had before. There was 5 feet of water running through their house and their vehicles floating down the stream. With our system, all they would have to do is dip into that water and have pure water. There were 17 counties in Tennessee that had floods last year, and everybody had to boil their water. How much water can you get, boil, and have enough to do much with, first of all?
Mm.
And it polluted the facilities that were creating the water. Everybody that had this system would have had pure water no matter how long that situation lasted.
Mm.
Houston, same thing recently. So people are more aware of it now than ever. And I just sometimes my heart just says, I wish everybody could understand you can save yourself and over 300 people major challenges by just taking action and doing something one time that will take care of you for the rest of your life and give you peace of mind and help a lot of others for $99. That's what we have.
Seems kind of like a no-brainer, honestly.
Yeah. Yes. Safercleanerwater.com is the website.
Okay, good to know. And Mark, when I say the word sustainability to you, what does that mean?
Sustainability means to be able to have the ability to do something that you need to do no matter what situation comes your way, knowing that you have the peace of mind to take care of the things that you can do to sustain yourself if you just take action.
Okay. All right. And are you on socials at all, or is it just the website?
Yes, we are on social. Yes, we're on Facebook and YouTube and Instagram.
At Safer Cleaner Water?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Very cool. Well, gosh, Mark Miller, thank you so much for sharing this. This is so interesting, and it's such a good deal. It just seems like hard
Right.
to say no to. Um, but I just wanted to, thank you again for bringing this up and for sharing this and coming up with this, because it's like, it really seems like a game changer for a lot of things. I mean, there are so many like homesteaders that don't have, they're using spring water or
Right.
stuff like that. And this could be a real big help. When I was in Maine, I with my jam business, I
Hmm.
had to have my water tested, even though I don't use water for actual like food. It's just to can it.
Hmm.
But I had to have the water tested, and there was bacteria in the water, so we had to get a filter for it, and we did like
Hmm.
some a light that would heat up the pipes. Oh my goodness. But,
Mm.
I mean, we looked into a filtration system, which was like $5,000 on the cheaper side, which was
Right. Right. Well, just one last thing. I was sitting in an activity center of a large church a while back and talking about this and the emergency system and whatever it was. And the pastor looked at me and he said, "We have a reverse osmosis system that's extremely large. It takes care of everything in our church and our activity center. So we really don't need this." And I said, "Jesse, what would happen if the electric went out?" "Oh, you're right, Mark. Yeah, we wouldn't have anything." So,
$100 to have peace of mind,
yeah,
guys.
exactly. Yeah. Thanks, Amy.
My goodness.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you so much. I really
All
appreciate that.
right.
I just want to take a second to thank my guest again for speaking with me and sharing such great information. I love having these conversations with folks. I also want to thank Buzzsprout for hosting the podcast, for Jane Bolduck and her music genius, for Becca Coffron and her award-winning artwork. And thank you for listening. I appreciate that so much. Please check out the show notes for any links and extra information. And if you would like to follow my guest and find out more about them, I'm sure they would love the follow. And if you don't mind leaving a rating or review wherever you're listening, and just help to get this podcast in front of new eyes, that would be amazing. I would really love that. And feel free to reach out to me on the socials and let me know what you're thinking. And if you would like to be a guest on the podcast, please let me know that. I would love to have a conversation with you about sustainability. All right. Thank you again. I hope you have a great rest of the week.
There'll come a day, my mama told me, when I find love to have and hold me, a heart that's strong and so sincere. Just tell me, how do I get there from here? Oh, tell me, how do I get there from here? 'Cause here and now I'm so far down that mercy's bound, yeah, to find me. We'll find a way to soothe the sickness. We'll heal the hate with sweet forgiveness. Wages of war Tell me, how do I get there from here? I wonder, how do I get there from here? Yeah, 'cause here now I'm so far down, and mercy's bound, yeah, to find me. When that state of grace has finally found me, will there be music, ooh, and good friends around me? Yeah, yeah. And I'll just smile through happy tears and wonder,